a little cottage industry mediators, lawyers, psychologists, and judges run to really exploit and rob vulnerable parents.
They failed to protect our children in this system. Our children are hurting. They would have not done drugs in our home. They would not be out having sex with men. They would not be stealing at the mall. They would not be doing what they're doing as we speak.
In my mind, protecting children's health, safety, and welfare is sacred.
I'm a distinguished professor of University of California in the School of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine with dual appointments. For the first time in my life, I became vulnerable because of that child. And so finally, I decided to write a letter to my legislator, basically outlining the corrupt George so-and-so of Yellow Family Court, described that he was an extortionist, he was running a legalized robbery, he was endangering the life of the child, the health of the child, and basically I documented that, sent it to the legislator, made a copy to the presiding judge, and made a copy to the judge himself. And in less than a week, he ruled that the child could not be moved to Washington, D.C. and has to stay in Davis. So that's what it took.
The system failed to protect our children when they took him out of our home. Our son was molested in foster care. Told the judge himself. The judge did nothing about it. He called it a misdemeanor annoyance. And if it would have been an adult who did it, or a teenager, they'd be in jail or prison today. It was an 11-year-old boy who did it to my son, and my son told it to the judge. What matters to us is the lack of protection and the things that we've seen behind closed doors, the lack of justice that we have seen. CPS chose to keep our children and turn and twist back rubs to the word massages. And they chose to twist and turn and select the facts that they want to select, not listening to us, not listening to family members, not listening to psychologists, therapists, teachers, all who were involved in our case. I've never been arrested. I've never committed a crime. We were investigated. No criminal charges. We have the DVDs on all 4 girls' interviews. The police say there's nothing criminal here. There's no criminal activity. There's nothing inappropriate. The words that were spoken from the investigator to the girls, the word is inappropriate. Anything inappropriate. All 4 children, nothing inappropriate. It was concluded amongst the professionals in this community, their own professionals, that we were safe and our home was safe. They still refused to let our children come home.
My daughter Talon. Talon was taken away from me May 16th, 2007. I've seen her 33 and a half hours supervised in 4 years. The reason why they took her away is they thought a 7-year-old couldn't use the words appropriate and inappropriate. And when she went in there, she actually passed the investigation. They closed it, said no molestation happened, and I actually got kudos from the investigator saying she knows all the parts of her body, she knows the inappropriate and appropriate touches, and she knows what's going on and whom to tell. So I got kudos, and that got thrown away, but then they turned that around on me because they couldn't find alienation, they couldn't find coaching, they couldn't find any of the things they usually take children away from parents. So they said that it was because she used the words appropriate and inappropriate, and she was only 7. I have a master's degree in education, and my ex-husband is also very educated, so using the words appropriate and inappropriate is not really a big deal for a 7-year-old coming from the background that she comes from.
Fighting to get the court to clean up their act is a very, very difficult thing to do because they're surrounded by a tube that you can't break through, and the way we're dealing with it, no one wants to talk about it. Courts are not above the law. My case had at least 5 or 6 mediators over the years. They keep changing. I can't tell you the number of therapists, and if CPS doesn't like one therapist, because the therapist makes a recommendation they don't like, they go and get another recommendation from somebody else. And then you go to court and the judge says no therapist can tell me what to do. So why do the parents have to hop through all these hoops? I want every elected official to really think about what you all are doing and join us to have accountability in CPS, accountability in the courts, a method of investigation, because a lot of times there is no investigation, nothing. And so I just feel that I'm adding my voice to all of those voices that have come ahead of me, and I do pledge to continue this fight in any way I can with all of you until it gets a top priority.
How could a nation be proud to be civilized and talk about human rights when you have a court system that is based on profit? There is nothing they wouldn't do to innocent children in order for the mighty dollar. I mean, that is the most disgraceful abuse of human rights, in my opinion.
If you feel like you're part of a flawed system with judges and mediators, court-appointed attorneys, evaluators who don't understand your case, who have mishandled your case, you might be right. The problems within the family court system throughout California are enormous. There is a lack of accountability for the actions of the professionals who claim to know more what your children need than you do. Find other parents who are in similar situations. We need each other.